welcome to a very special episode of Ginger Force Apocalypse, the podcast. It's me, Britt Rochelle.
Muffin.
And we've got a very sleepy studio puppy, Zap Brannigan, right here. We were going to put him in his little nappy area before.
He just found my lap instead.
Yeah, so we're just going to keep him here for as long as we can. Ain't he a cutie? Today we're addressing a very special topic in terms of, well, we're going to talk about video game ratings and whether you as parents, family members of young ones, if they should be playing these games and at what age. This is quite topical for us here at GFAP as if you're not already aware, Joshua is going to be a father in May.
That is me.
I'm so proud of you.
And while he is a gamer, and I love referring to his future child as his future gaming buddy, his wife is not a gamer and does not agree with this.
No, not at all.
What's wifey's stance on kids and video games and screen time?
She does not want our daughter to have any sort of screen time until she's at least 4.
So no movie nights or anything, or... See, I've taken some classes in college about this. This falls into another category of child ring that's come quite popular and quite controversial. The iPad kid.
Yeah.
No, so I absolutely agree. I do agree with Ashley on some things in terms that she's not wrong in terms of wanting to limit screen time, because screen time for kids is actually, it can be quite detrimental to their development, especially these iPad kids, as they're called now, who their parents don't raise them. They just go, hey, here's an iPad, entertain yourself all day while I either go to work, do unsavory things, or... Because there are pros and cons. I can see how the iPad or other tablet device can be helpful in terms of keeping the kid entertained while you have to go to work or do dishes or take a shower or whatever. Yeah. But ultimately, that responsibility should not be on a piece of technology. No, it's the parent's job to either get a sitter to entertain your kid, give them another toy or something they can play with. But that doesn't mean that all screen time and all technology is created equal when it comes to children.
Correct.
So, I played video games I started late for a lot of gamers. I started around the age of, God, when did I start gaming? I guess 10 would be between 8 and 10 would be when I started gaming. So, but some started a lot younger. Let's look at some pros and cons that we've looked up when it comes to having your kids play video games. There are studies that show improved brain development, so that's cool. In a lot of video games, they require quick reflexes, critical thinking skills, creative thinking, just all of...
some good problem solving, stuff like that.
And there are a lot of educational-based games made for younger kids to teach them how to do things like type, do math, learn history.
Cool Math Games is where it was at.
Oh my gosh. So many times my school tried to ban coolmathgames.com, and it wasn't a thing. Kept coming back to the point where I think the school board relented, and they were finally like, okay, Cool Math Games is the only thing you're going to play if you're going to play an online game. No Icy Tower, no Pop Tropica, no Minecraft. It's Cool Math Games, or you're doing your homework in study hall.
It's Cool Math Games or nothing.
Pretty much. That's how it was at my school anyways. That was free time, is homework, or if you're going to be on the internet, coolmathgames.com. So yeah, that goes to this. This is in the playroom.co.uk. This kind of supports what we were just saying, that there's a lot of educational games. I remember one of my favorites was in my typing class. We had Read, Write, and Type. It was a game where you went on a little adventure with the main characters were like hands, because obviously it was a typing game, so you had to get through the levels by learning how to type longer and longer words and figure out where the keys are. Because it is true that if you're looking at the keys, it's a lot harder to type, in my opinion, at least. So learning where the keys are and just doing it from memory is a lot more efficient.
See, I didn't really enjoy the typewriting classes, but the one thing that I did enjoy when we had the time to do so was Type Shark.
I never played that one. What's Type Shark?
You would type out a word that appears on a shark that's going after a scuba diver.
Okay, this sounds familiar. I think yours unlocked a memory.
Everybody's core memory right now. Type Shark. You type out the word, it zaps the shark.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shark just kind of floats back up, and then, eventually you get longer words. And shorter time to do so. So it was a fun game for me. Very educational, and it helped out a lot for typing.
Let's see. Oh, this one says that this number 3 says life skills is another one. It says games like Minecraft and Fortnite can actually teach kids basic life skills such as saving money, sourcing material to build structures, bartering, communication skills, teamwork, basic driving skills, and survival tactics. I think I've heard our friend Thomas talk about this, actually, how a lot of people, like even in the military, they'll use things like tactical RPGs and other types of video games to assess their reflexes and their military readiness, because there's other life skills like strategy. You kind of need to strategize if you're going to be in the military.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how Fortnite's going to teach a kid a basic life skill other than
Flossing.
I was thinking more like building things and shooting.
Shooting.
That could play into the part of
life skills, I guess.
The school shooter side of the gaming hatred.
Like if you play something like Fortnite, you can build a barricade while a person's shooting at you.
Exactly, and then you can jump 30 feet in the air by throwing a grenade at your feet.
Fair enough. And I guess a lot of the playing devil's advocate would be, so in terms of the military, you got to be 18 to join the military. But developmentally speaking, the younger you start something, the sooner you're going to absorb it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of famously kids from two language households are fluent really early on because, say, if you got a Hispanic American kid who's growing up around English and Spanish, they're going to know English and Spanish all their lives because they grew up around it. Similarly speaking, if you start your kids on video games early, they're going to be a lot better at it, later on. So you want to build those tactical skills early.
So what I'm hearing is I'm giving my daughter an Xbox controller day one.
At least let her hold it, If she's not allowed to play with it,
Get her used to the power.
And we're going to start out with Xbox first, because,
we all know, yep, I'm not even surprised.
I have multiple Xbox controllers. If she breaks one, I got another one.
Fair enough. Oh, don't worry, I'll get her on that DualShock eventually.
I feel like the vibration would scare her more than anything.
You can turn it off.
Yeah, but that ruins the whole point of the game.
Exactly. That's how you gauged how you were doing, was the vibrations in the controller. Her hands will be pretty small to start anyway, so she won't be.
Yeah, so we'll get her the tiny little toy ones.
They have those at Build-A-Bear, the little plushy ones. Just take just cut off the little strings it has little strings on the side so you can attach it to their paws. Just cut that off, and then there's no small parts for you to worry about.
Perfect. Getting her a controller, I'm going to be like, all right, now I know you said no gaming, but pulls out the little plushie controller. I got her this.
She can cuddle it, and I'll just show you. Actually, I'll give you there's a bigger plushie controller. I think you've seen it here on GFAP. It's part of the set. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you at the.
Goodness.
I'll give it to you at the baby shower. It'll be great. We're just kidding. That's not in my line of fire, so I'm gonna move on.
There you go. Enjoy it. Golly. No, what is that? Creativity was the last one,
yeah,
right?
let's go back. Let's go. Increase creativity. This website states, video games transport you into another world. While some may fear this escapism can be detrimental to a child's health, it's actually a fantastic way to boost creative thinking. A study of 500 children found the more they played video games, the more creative they were in tasks such as drawing, writing stories, and crafting. Video games encourage out-of-the-box thinking and can help kids develop a broader perspective on the world around them.
I will agree with that part.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I was literally just thinking the other day how much better I think my childhood socialization would have been if I'd played Kingdom Hearts. And I do mean this seriously, because there's so many good lessons in that game, and it's so fun and creative.
So...
Sorry, go on.
Sophomore year in high school, I somehow convinced my English teacher to let us do, what is it, the 11 Battles of Hercules or something like that?
Something like that. I remember it. I know what you're talking about.
In Minecraft.
Ooh.
So we had the IT department of the school come up to the English classroom, give us all administrative privileges to go into the data folders and pull them onto flash drives so we could play Minecraft on any computer in the entire school.
Yes.
And we had a special note from the IT department saying that we were allowed to play the game because it was school related.
Nice.
So towards the end of it, we did a whole third person, kind of like a spectator's camera view of one person playing through all the things that Hercules had to go through for English class. Yeah, the Trials of Hercules. We did all of that. I worked on models, so I turned pigs into bulls and everything else like that.
Oh,
cool. And towards the end of it, they were like, this is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep this as part of a curriculum for the school? And I was like, I don't care. Have the flash drive. So
I'd
if
say
you
yes.
get a specific part of English at Maine West in Illinois with the one teacher, guarantee you she'll let you play some Minecraft on there.
And that is so cool too. Modding is so popular nowadays. You can make money off making cool mods, can't you?
Yeah.
And it really just jumpstarts you into being able to do cool computer stuff. I even when I was in school, which I think it was pretty new, and I want to say my sophomore or junior year, everyone was starting to promote coding classes, encouraging kids to learn coding. Coding is the future. That's the whole thing, and
it's not.
It's not. Oh,
that's not.
Shot my whole point in the foot. That's literally the point of this. That's okay. I was saying,
feel free to continue making.
No, I was trying to make the point that's going to kickstart the future because technology moves so damn quickly and everything develops in a very rapid pace nowadays.
What we need is people that follow instructions. That's what we need. Because you can't go in there and go, hey, I need this to be coded this way. And then the guy's like, you know what? Would sound better? I code this in blue instead of orange like you asked. And then it's just an issue from the start.
Well, I would argue that that kind of defeats the purpose of the creativity then. Because if you're just training kids to follow directions, then that's not anything cool or developmentally palpable or
School
feasible.
Alone is not designed for,
Also, I'm pro homeschooling. I think more parents should take it should be able to, because I know there's a ton of other socioeconomic factors, but more parents should be able to take on the helm and homeschool their kids. There should be a set curriculum still. There's the kids that should have to learn, but homeschooling is, when it's done right, is so superior to public schooling. But there's so many that has such a stigma because there's so many homes that do it so wrong.
And then you get the parts of, when you're homeschooled, you don't get cultured into the things that happen. You don't experience the socialization.
Unless you play video games.
You're right, because you can play a video game to where you can go to, senior prom.
Well, senior prom.
Or deal with the bullying.
Well, that's why. Well, again, that plays into. That's a whole other conversation about homeschooling.
Video games are actually pretty cool.
I mean, you can still get bullied at home. Your mom could be a dick.
Well, video games.
Well, also there are outside.
When you say video games, to help you with you like deal with them inside video games, deal with bullies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of neat because video games tell you in a weird way what is a bully and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A
Sometimes
villain.
it doesn't. It tells you what a villain is.
It does. It
The
does.
main protagonist.
Oh, what?
I had a kid who played video games. He Shayrukened his bully.
Yeah.
That's how he won a fight. Ran up to the kid and went Shayruken! Uppercutted him.
Oh my god, that's
This
brilliant.
guy, big kid, got Shayruken, fell on the ground. Went, oh!
That's amazing.
World
Then he ran away and he said, "Hide me." Actually, we turned him into the teacher.
But that's
Bunch of traitors.
That's what he said.
yeah.
I feel like if he just did that whole uppercut move, everybody would be terrified to turn him in. You just gotta sit there and go,
That's too
dude,
bad
this
he
guy
was
just
really,
knocked
really
out
small.
this.
Well, again, this
Really?
could be its own episode though, because
Nobody gonna bother him though. Bully him when he grows up.
Oh.
He's there to punch.
he's there to punch for sure. But no, that just brings up a whole other can of worms, like outside school activities. Like there's dance classes, there's martial arts classes, there's...
What school are you going to that had martial arts and
No,
dance?
that's what I'm saying, outside of school. Like, those are...
My school was that cool.
I wish mine was too. But no, like outside of... Like if you're a homeschool kid and you want to go socialize, there's programs outside of school for that. Like
Yeah.
martial arts and dance and gymnastics
Well,
and
I
stuff.
think one of the biggest problems with American schools are just
Not offering everything
they
that
don't
needs
offer
to.
anything.
I mean, my school offered a lot of stuff.
But that does bring us back around to
Yeah,
the
offer
cons
martial
of having kids play video games, which is they claim the social isolation of it. If you're in your room playing video games all day, which video gaming can't, especially to a young mind, it's flashing lights and cool stuff that, you're not going to run into Donald and Goofy and Sora on the street or in your gymnastics class. Like, you're going to see them at home in front of your TV screen. And it can be very addicting to, like, get into those worlds and getting those achievements that you don't get in real life. Or, I mentioned outside school activities like gymnastics. Maybe you're not so athletic. Maybe you don't like gymnastics. But you like going home and playing Grand Theft Auto.
Ah. Yes.
So that itself can cause some issues. But I feel that's where I want to bring up like online like chats and stuff, but you don't want your kids in those chat rooms.
No.
You don't.
No.
So
Those will culture shock you so quickly.
and there's so many weird people out there. You don't want
There are people who relish in bullying children.
bullying, yeah, and other
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that I
yes.
just don't. We're not even going to speak of on this channel. It's so dangerous on the internet right now. So I could see that, but that's where again, if my kids are going to play video games, I'm going to try and take it upon myself to play with them or help them find, like, say, mom friends who have kids who are also into video games. Let them play together, old school style, next to each other, multiplayer. So, yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
My mom had a huge problem with me playing
Yeah.
Xbox so much. Got to the point where anytime I'd go in there just play for a little bit. And when I say a little bit, an hour at most.
Yeah.
I'd come back out of the room and she goes, "Oh, look who decided to join the real world." And I go, "Oh yeah?" Turn right back around and go back in there. Wouldn't play the game, but I'd just sit there and ignore her. It's not a con if I'm not playing the game.
See, and that's, and in terms of the addictiveness too, I don't know, I really loved me some Sims, and I remember it only happened one time and for good reason. The trope of like, oh, okay, just one more round, you gotta get off of that, can't you just pause it? It's not that easy, Mom, I can't just pause it.
It's an online game.
Well, for one, that problem does not exist with The Sims.
No.
Not at all. But I would still insist, like my sister and I like trade the controller because The Sims is a one-player game unless you're playing The Sims 2. If you're even just playing together, it didn't matter. We would, oh God, what is it? The one morning we woke up early enough to ask our mom if we could play some Sims before school. And she was like, okay, but only for a little bit. And then we weren't super late because Mom kept bugging us like, hey, you need to get off of there. Girls are going to be late. And we're like, just one more minute. And she, had obviously pull her mom voice and go, no, girls, now you're already late. And so she never let us play before school ever again. It was always an after-school activity, and she was in the right for that.
Yeah. You tried it once, and she gave you the leeway, and you're just like,
Yep.
What's a little bit late,
Yep, but no, it was, she gave us the opportunity, and we squandered it, was really what happened. If we had just been like, okay, time to go to school, we could at least play some Sims before school.
Yeah.
Gamer's wrist, like texting thumb, I forgot that was the thing. Regular video gamers are prone to wrist strain and pain. Hours of repetitive movements and poor posture can damage tendons and nerves in the thumbs, wrist, forearms, elbows, neck, and back, resulting in chronic pain or discomfort. Prevent children from developing gaming-related injury by encouraging them to sit in a supported chair and take a screen break every half an hour or so to stretch.
No.
Yeah.
This is not the age of Michelle Obama where she took over Nickelodeon and everything was like, all right, kids, we're going outside for a whole day today.
That was an hour, 60 minutes. Get up and play an hour a day.
No.
Yes, that's
You're supposed to actually do that.
Not having sunlight is bad for you. Not
You're
moving
right.
is bad for you.
Let me go ahead and take my 30-minute break. I'm going to go into the bathroom, maybe grab some snacks, maybe download a different game. And while I'm waiting for that one to finish, I'm just going to sit there, munching on my fattening snacks and drinking my drinks. And then go back to the game, literally.
That's not the point. You're supposed to get up and stretch, not sit up and eat Cheetos.
Oh, I was stretching all right. Reaching for that top shelf for the bag of chips.
You had to take enough steps to that fridge as it is.
Exactly. Your average household, if it's got a second floor, it's got about 32 to 46 steps. So you're going up, down one way. That's quite a bit of steps going back down again. Now let's say you forget some. That's 3-4 times going up and down them steps. You got your steps in for the day.
But thinking like that is so my older sister's not a gamer, but she has a similarly sedentary lifestyle thanks to her job. And if you want a horror story, she has sat on her ass for so long that she's now got fluid buildup in her hips and chronic hip pain to where she can barely move and walk at like 40 years old or something, however old she is. And so yeah, get up
Skill
and stretch.
issue.
Go on a run. Go on a walk. Take a break from the chair for a day. Go on a hike.
Just stand up. All right, sit right back down.
It's not going to give the desired effect.
It will,
I'm telling you that right now.
It will, it's fine. You just do it so often, How about every half hour?
Now you're suddenly in favor of the stretch break.
I'm not. I'm just giving it crap because
He's trying.
Well, from a gamer's perspective, I can see how every half hour is not reasonable, especially if you do play something like World of Warcraft, which you cannot consistently take a half hour break if you're, say, in a raid or in a dungeon that can take hours to get through. Even if you're just trying to power level a character, that's gonna take some grinding, and you're not always in the best possible place to stop because there's mobs, there's beasts, there's PvPers that will gank your ass.
It's not even just World of Warcraft. Think about how all the newer games too, Call of Duty Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
Warzone match.
player games now.
Yeah, any of these newer games.
Battle Royale,
You will get ganked.
They do
Fortnite,
not,
even
they're not even a half hour long. One
Yeah.
game could take at least 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you survive that whole 48 minutes, good for you. You sweat, but after that 48 minutes, you're just like vibing
indeed.
waiting for the next match to start. You're not getting up. You're sitting there like, oh man, this is great. Look at all this stuff.
Well, that's where you might say when you're entering a lobby. I'm sorry, I literally don't know what's going on here. I'm just gonna turn this off for a split. All right, yep, we're good. Whatever. Alright, that'll work. But yeah, that is where I'll defend the Fortnite players and be like, look, if you're waiting for that match, like you said, you're not going to go out for a hike. But what you can do would be just get up out of your chair, keep your eye on the screen, stretch a little bit, do some squats, sit back down when there's 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, but that's not a half hour though.
I always like streamers who did exercising while streaming.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I thought that was always pretty sweet.
And it does promote good habits, because when you do get, say, using World of Warcraft as the same example, once you do get to that, resting point, when you get to the inn or the next town, that is a good place to clear your inventory, consolidate your quest log, and go AFK and just go take a walk somewhere, even if it's just around your house. Do some lunges.
Yeah, don't clear my inventory. What do you do? My inventory is packed.
Oh.
I think I've got like 900 things of rocks or feathers or something like that.
Oh, you gotta mail those to your alts. You gotta...
What's an alt?
An alternative character that.
Oh, I don't have that.
That's fair.
Just mail it to a friend.
Yeah, mail it to.
Send it back.
Yeah, RTS, return to sender.
I'm just gonna start dropping it off in the world and just going on about my day.
A lot of people drop a lot of things off in my mailbox. Be like, "Hey, this is yours now." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yep.
This is just a bunch of rocks. You're welcome. What?
Oh, okay. We did go over the addiction thing a little bit, which we can step into, but I'm just going to disagree with the arguments. When there's more than one child in the household, you can easily lead to arguments about who's getting more game time and who's hogging the internet.
Buy your own. Buy your own. That's it. That's your argument.
That's a good opportunity to teach your children to take fucking turns.
Nope. Okay, so if it's yours, okay, so let's say mom and dad buy you a Game Boy when it comes out. Now, your sibling does not get said Game Boy or get anything similar to it. He's fighting over it because he wants to play the Game Boy that you have.
Well, that's fucked up on the parents' end then, because, like, if you have a sibling and you're only, like, say, at least in my, like, I'm a bad example, though, because I'm a twin, so we got the same of everything. If we didn't, like, we got one PlayStation, and we had to share it. And I don't think we ever, for years, even had a second controller. So we did play past the controller, and there were plenty of arguments, especially I was kind of a dick when it came to certain games. That's a different story for a different time. But, no, we took turns, and you had to. And if you're buying your one kid a Game Boy, like, if you're an older sibling, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're around the same age, and you're getting one kid a Game Boy, and he's saying, well, that's his Game Boy. He doesn't have to share it. You just get to play with the dice on the floor. Like...
Yeah, that's a little messed up.
That's messed up!
And then the whole usage, if you scroll back up on the...
Mm-hmm.
See, so if you got two people looking to play an online game at the same time, you'll want to a connection speed of about 10 to 20 megabits per second. You don't even need that much. Don't even need that much. And then you get the other people that are like, oh, but gamers take up so much data usage. Also wrong. If you've ever heard the argument about how gamers use more data than like Netflix or anything like that, games are set to a certain resolution at a certain speed with a certain amount of data, like, I guess, transfer. So Netflix is set to 4K the entire film. So that's a 1 to 3 hour film, 4K, which, buffering is going to take about 300 megs to about a whole gig for the entire film.
There's a reason buffering rhymes with suffering.
Exactly. My mom used to argue with me about that so much.
Oh, your mom is wrong. No,
so much.
Because just something to support your argument, actually, is the fact that I remember we'd have girls' nights up at the old house, and we'd try to watch our little girly movies. At the same time, the guys were trying to play games in the, in their room, whatever, and never once did their video games make our movie lag.
Yeah.
But so constantly, it had to stop being a thing that we would stream in game on the same night because their game would get so laggy if our movie was playing on a streaming service. Like, it was either you're not watching a movie, you're playing some other game, or you're playing with us, or you're watching a damn DVD.
Yeah.
Like, that's how that worked. Anyway, the last bit is the part about addiction. This website claims video game addiction is real. Correct. Most games are designed so that you keep playing them and reward you for each stage or task that you complete. This can cause kids to become cyber hooked and potentially develop behaviors such as poor impulse control, lethargy, depression, aggression, and poor learning outcomes at school. Combat video game addiction by taking an active role in helping your kids understand that video games are designed to be addictive and the consequences that can be hurtful to their health, schoolwork, and relationships. I think that's fair. I really do.
Like, it's fair in some points, yes.
Well, let's bring it back to the subject at hand in terms of, kids' development. It's not really good for, little Billy if this doesn't happen anymore because life sucks. But if his friends come up to his house on a bike going, hey, come outside and play with us. Nah, I'm going to go inside and play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Deuces. Like, that's not really good for social development. And if my kid did that, I would ban them from the PlayStation or Xbox for a week and say, go get on your bike and play with those damn
Go
games.
get outside!
Get outside.
No!
Like,
You're banned!
Like, you want to play video games again? You better go outside and play with your friends and also not play video games for a week.
You're grounded.
You're grounded from the video games if
God
you're going to
forbid
be
you
that...
have fun. You're grounded.
No, okay. Now you're
Because
just...
that's what that is. God forbid you have fun playing something you enjoy. You're grounded. What? You don't like this conversation either?
He's just mad he can't hold a controller and play these video games.
You know what, friendo? I would be too. Look at that sad little face. He can't play anything, and you guys are out here complaining about addiction and everything else.
So I think at the core of it, to wrap up this little conversation debate, I'm gonna, using your wife as the crux of this argument, I'm gonna say I have to agree with her that I think screen time should be allowed, but it should be moderated, and she should probably not play a game herself until she's a little older. Maybe I think 4 is the youngest I would go.
The moment that child can grasp a controller, she is playing a game. And I'm not buying no mini controller, because they make them.
I believe it.
Full-size Xbox controller.
What are you talking about? Just start off with the Nintendo controller. Really mess with it.
Nah.
No, get the GameCube controller.
I don't have a Nintendo 64 controller.
No, what about that giant the GameCube controller with the weird, it's the superior controller, I stick to that, but once she can hold a GameCube controller.
Hell, I'll give it an Atari.
Atari.
The moment she figures out how to deal with that, good. We'll go from there.
We'll upgrade it from there.
Yeah.
Once they're old enough to ask,
I mean, 4 enough is,
yeah.
Old enough to go, hey, game, please.
That does bring us, but once what you gotta do is when she's in her crib, just start whispering, Xbox, Xbox, Xbox. That way her first word is Xbox!
The glare I would get from my
I
life.
think somebody would end your life right there and then.
No, it's like, screw saying mama or dada as the first word, just Xbox!
They're like, oh, I wonder who taught her that. I'll be like, look, it was Brittany's idea.
I mean, it's on record. I guess I can't lie and say no, it wasn't.
It was Garrett's idea.
It was Garrett's
What the fuck? I mean, a little.
But that brings us to once the kids are old enough to play, which again they should still be in moderation, at least in the earlier stages of development, because the sooner they get hooked, just like the sooner they play, the sooner they'll learn. It's the same for the negative consequences as well. The sooner they get hooked, the harder it is for them to get unhooked from it. So, but not just that. There's also different ratings of video games, as we're all aware. Let's keep little Ellie to E for everyone.
Nope. Rated M right off the bat.
Just start her little hands play fucking GTA.
Her first game is gonna be my first game. Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
That was your first game?
For a rated M, yeah.
Oh, for rated M. No, that makes sense. No, say if that was your first video game ever, I would have some questions about the kind of people your mom let you hang around.
Nope. I played Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and then it was the Jak and Daxter series, and then...
Was it rated M?
Huh?
Those are rated M?
No, Jak and Daxter was rated T.
They were rated T.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it was an E game.
Honestly, I could imagine that one as rated D, yeah.
I remember playing a rated R once.
Ow.
And that was it. Couldn't remember what the disc was. I just know it had the big red R on it, and I was
Big
like,
R, stamped.
yeah, I'm big boy now, red R. Never touch that game again.
I don't remember that rating. I think there's a reason for that, though.
I think it was like more of a joke, but I
Yeah.
know it had the R on there. It was slanted. And it was there. Kind of like how those are slanted.
Let's look up this rated R
Easy now.
video game.
Rated R.
Yeah, video games that got the rare adults only. Oh, I guess R is what the AO turned into.
The Punisher!
Oh, the.
Manhunt was actually pretty horrifying.
Oh,
San Andreas.
yes. Due to the inclusion of the removed minigame Hot Coffee, which increased the adult content of the game.
Yep.
I'll have you explain that to me later. Y'all can look that up for yourselves. The Punisher for graphic death scenes later toned down to an M by presenting the violence in black and white. That's literally the same thing that Sin City... Was it Sin City? I think
Yeah,
the movie...
it's a SimCity thing.
Yeah, Sin City did that too. And Manhunt 2 for incredibly violent and gory content, and that was later modified to meet, except for the uncut PC version.
Oh my gosh, those two games are so brutal.
I
Mortal Kombat, though. They had a
don't know
rated R.
if it's did they?
Had to have.
I mean, because I'll say because if that's already rated M for mature because of their video game violence. So if there's an AO rated Mortal Kombat, that's got to be some
Mortal Kombat
crazy
did it
shit.
differently than how those those three games did it. Those games actually did it in pretty messed up ways.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
so
that's-
splitting somebody's head off and pulling out their spine.
Weirdly
Well-
appropriate.
a lot of
But
that.
the problem is you don't hear the screaming.
Yes, you do.
There's
No, you don't.
I will argue in at least the later version in Mortal Kombat 10 they definitely put in like the bone crunching sounds and all that, but a lot of that tends to get factored under graphic cartoon violence. It's just cartoonish enough in the display of it that it's not like say Deadpool or even that. I wouldn't even say Deadpool. That's pretty cartoony too for as live action as it is, but it's not like you're actually witnessing like what do they call those the smut films or whatever. I'm trying to think of the actual name.
Porn.
Nope.
Manhunt 1 and 2 are actually based off the smut films.
Yeah.
Based off smut films.
Are
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Those
Interesting.
are movies that
Those are
I
pretty
have.
pretty f***ed up, like I said.
Yeah, it's like those ultra realistic kind
You're
of.
like, I think you're supposed to be in the first one. You're supposed to be a serial killer who gets kidnapped by a rich
serial
man
killer?
who wants to watch smut films,
Oh Jesus, yeah,
and he pits you up against a whole bunch of them.
yeah. That again. There's some stuff I'm curious about that I've heard of on the internet. That I'm like I could watch that. A lot of those things, I'm good. I've heard enough about it. I don't need to see it for myself. I'm good. Yeah. So I guess apart from the obvious stuff, the screen time we've already discussed and the pros and cons, if you are going to let your kids play video games, make sure you read the back of it. Read the rating, see why it's rated that way.
Read the fine print.
Exactly.
Look up some gameplay.
You can read better than your kid can. Please just read the back of the game.
You are the reason your child plays these games. Do the research yourself.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your friends go, oh yeah, this is a great game. And the first thing you see is just tits.
And if you don't want your kids to play, like, if you see a game cover, for example, and I know one person in this room has personal experience with this, if you as a parent sees a game cover with a cute squirrel on it, don't get them the game just because it has a cute squirrel on it. Because that game is probably Conker's Bad Fur Day. And that has been rated M for mature game for reasons, just for personal reasons that I don't want to spoil it for myself because I've never played the game. But I will certainly be playing the game before my kid does to see how that pans out. Let's just say there's some fun content in there that's not suitable for children just because it's got a cute squirrel as the main character.
You need to tell me that you were expecting.
No, I'm not. Don't. No, nowhere
that.
near that.
Love that.
Nope. This is the only baby I need right now. I think.
Well, next day she was pregnant.
I think
That would catch me off guard.
Right. No, I think that well wraps up this very special episode of Ginger Force Apocalypse, the podcast. I'd love to hear your opinions. Leave a comment if you can. If you can't, hop into my DMs. Let me know what you think. Am I completely off the mark? When did you start playing video games? Are you a parent? Do you let your kids play video games? I'd love to hear it. I've got so many socials. Leave a comment wherever. Tell me that you agree with me or that I'm dumb.
And that you agree with me and, not her.
Just go to BrittRochelle.com and let me know your thoughts.
And then, Linktree, Muffin Sincere.
Right there, or somewhere in this vicinity.
Just paste it over my face.
Right.
That works too.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you for watching this episode of Ginger Force Apocalypse, the podcast, and hope we'll see you at the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.